As much of Canada celebrates 150 years of Confederation, we headed north in search of an answer to a question about the fabric of Canada and whether it truly connects us all, and ultimately, how we can build a better Canada for everyone. Our destination? Nunavut, Canada's newest territory. It means our land. 9 days, 9 communities, 8,000 kilometers.
Nous savons toutefois que pour comprendre l'importance du Nunavut pour les Inuits, les Nunavummiuk, les Canadiens et le monde, une étude plus approfondie est nécessaire. Nous sommes conscients que ce qui suit présente une infime fraction d'une histoire plusieurs fois millénaire. Mais nous savons également que comprendre le passé, le présent et le futur du Nunavut permettra une interprétation juste de l'histoire canadienne tout en regardant vers l'avant.
Before heading to Nunavut, a quick stop in the Northwest Territories' capital city, Yellowknife, population 19,000. Because so many people are unable to receive care in their home communities, patients from Nunavut are airlifted hundreds of miles away to receive medical attention. Larga Kitikmeot is a boarding home that provides food and shelter for patients. Here, for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, people like Casey give pregnant women, cancer patients, and others the small comforts they can while they are receiving medical care.
You have to be a jack of all trades to work here, and you have to understand the people that we're serving. When we were trying to recruit healthcare staff to live in any of those communities, it was so hard.
We learned a lot. There aren't that many general practitioners in the region, so they're very under-resourced. They're feeling the pressure of long hours, but they're trying to find new ways of doing things.
At the end of our tour, Casey touched on an important subject: the resilience of Inuit culture in spite of the intergenerational impacts of colonization. This echoed an important message we heard throughout the tour. Inuit people have made numerous sacrifices to be a part of Canada. It is now time for the rest of Canada to do its part. We headed to Cambridge Bay, a small hamlet located on Victoria Island in the Kitikmeot region in the western area of the territory. We toured the newly built Canadian High Arctic Research Station, a first of its kind. This center will recognize and incorporate traditional Inuit knowledge into its scientific analysis on the effects of climate change. A power that is taken for granted by many Canadians. The choice to live in your home community and not be forced to leave for work. The choice to give birth at home and not have to fly south. The choice for Inuit to thrive in a digital age while continuing a traditional way of life. We headed east to Johaven, where we visited the Nitilik Heritage Center and saw the works of renowned Inuit artists, including Nelson Takuruk and Ralph Porter. We listened to the incredible story of the key role Inuit oral history played in the discovery of the Franklin expedition. Local Inuit historian Louis Kamukak was instrumental in discovering one of the ships. He led the search team to the ship, using his 30-year collection of oral history about the ship that had been passed down generations in his community.
We're at the Heritage Museum looking at all kinds of historical stuff to do with the Franklin expedition, and I thought this part was really interesting because Europeans looked for the 2 boats that had been lost for more than 150 years and said they couldn't find it. But if you look here at this map, Inuit history had known forever, since the 1850s in fact, where the boats were located. In fact, the island next to where the boat was located, that's the name for it there, and it actually means there is a boat there. Oh, the arrogance of not listening. We missed the boat.
But not talking.
Yes, we missed the boat.
Food insecurity is a major issue in Nunavut, where 1 in 4 people in the territory do not have access to affordable and nutritious food. We stopped by local grocery stores in every community we visited. Food in these stores costs up to 3 times the national average.
You just see a crazy amount of prices. There's $25 for Sunny D. I think it was $17 for a liter bottle of water. It just amazes me the cost of living up in the Arctic.
Des aînés ont soupé avec nous dans leur centre d'hébergement de longue durée, un des seuls centres du genre existants sur un territoire de 2 millions de kilomètres carrés. Alors que la population grandit et que les problèmes d'hébergement sont critiques, ces établissements sont essentiels. Demeurer dans sa communauté est ainsi un choix. En parallèle à d'autres problèmes d'infrastructure dans le territoire, le manque d'espace dans les centres d'hébergement de longue durée est un défi constant, tout comme celui d'engager des employés aptes à parler avec les aînés en inuktitut. Le Nunavut est riche en ressources minières. Un grand éventail d'opinions au sujet du développement des ressources nous a été présenté partout dans le territoire.
We're at Meadowbank Gold Mine, and it's actually Nunavut's first gold mine. Their level of Inuit employees or Indigenous employees is 30%, which relative to other companies that are doing this is apparently almost double.
Comme groupe, nous croyons toutefois qu'une consultation plus étendue est nécessaire afin de porter un jugement éclairé.
We headed off to Baker Lake, also known as the center of Canada. It's also Nunavut's only inland community. We were fortunate to land there on graduation day at the local elementary school.
Our 4 boys and girls that had 100% attendance this year were Vladimir Hockby,
As we go through city to city and town to town, we're learning from each other and learning from you as well. About health, about work, about play, about elders, and especially about the youth. And we're very proud to be here with you because we know that you're going to be the next leaders of Canada to build a better Canada as well.
Everywhere we went, we were inspired by a sense of hope and optimism of Nunavut's youth. But the impacts of intergenerational trauma caused by colonization are present. And with that history comes a complex and unique set of social challenges, from sexual and physical abuse to mental illness. We met with local social and mental health workers, as well as a member of the RCMP. They told us about their experiences in working to overcome critical challenges.
We met with the Women's Support Center. They take care of women coming into, or supporting them to come into the workplace, promoting education.
What we do also in Mianixi, we provide support to victims who are going to testify, especially for children who have been a victim of child sexual abuse.
Rebecca, who's the leader of this association, expressed personal experiences that she went through herself.
Inuit women face occurrences of violence, crimes, including spousal abuse and sexual abuse, at a rate far above the national average. We pretty well know the cause of family violence, what causes that, and
she expressed her personal life at being taken away at 9 years old, going to a residence school. And she was just taken away from her family. It was a very touching moment.
So today we were in Baker Lake this morning and we were headed to Cape Dorset. But the winds were so high in Cape Dorset that we weren't able to leave when we had planned. And also because we had strong headwind against us, we had to stop for a fueling stop in Coral Harbour. And we think we're going to be able to make it into Cape Dorset, but there's still a chance that we might not, and we might have to go into Iqaluit. And the interesting thing is that this type of thing with weather in Nunavut happens a lot. It can impact medical services, medevacs. It can even impact food supply. So if you had bad weather or high winds for days and days and planes can't land, you might find your grocery store shelves empty of fresh items.
Selfie time. Cape Dorset, baby!
Nous nous sommes ensuite dirigés vers Cape Dorset, notre premier arrêt dans la région du Qikiqtaaluk. Cette communauté a été durement touchée par l'incendie de son école secondaire en 2015.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Les élèves ont été affectés, mais également la communauté au grand complet. Malgré tout, Cape Dorset demeure une communauté résiliente, créative et chaleureuse. En effet, nous avons été accueillis à bras ouverts lors d'une fête communautaire. De la nourriture traditionnelle comme de l'omble chevalier, du phoque et de l'oie nous ont été servis.
I'd like to welcome them. Thank you very much for coming here to our community and meet with us.
So I'm gonna be eating some seal. Don't choke on it. Don't choke? Okay, I'm gonna good. It's really good. It's good. It's really good.
Cape Dorset is world-renowned. It's called the capital of Inuit art for a reason. There have been studios there, specialized in printmaking, and they have all the equipment there to do it all. And so you have local artists who are able to produce their art there, but also to sell it. Bill Ritchie est depuis près de 30 ans responsable des studios d'estampes et d'imprimerie. Il a pu observer la croissance du rayonnement et de l'impact de Cape Dorset sur la scène artistique autant à l'échelle locale, nationale qu'internationale. Toutefois, ce qui passionne réellement Bill Ritchie est l'impact que ces studios ont eu et continueront d'avoir sur Cape Dorset.
So it's people who made the big changes here for me. Yeah, just missing them and growing new ones, Yeah.
We landed in Iqaluit, an Inuit hamlet in Fox Basin.
Iqaluit were located here in just after the World War. We have a growing community. We have students, roughly around 500.
We went to a great circus in Iqaluit called Art Cirque, and they're world renowned.
It was a real honor to be able to spend so much time with the elders of this community. It was heartbreaking too, in a way, as well, because they saw us as members of the Governor General's Leadership Conference as a portal of communication to the Canadian government to be able to express some of their grievances. And one of them that I've been aware of for quite some time was the mass slaying of sled dogs.
Him and his wife used to take the dog team and travel out to Baffin Island. There's no dogs now. It was, I guess, kind of tough when the government arrived. If they saw a loose dog, they would automatically shoot the dog And if you didn't have a snowmobile, if your dog was shot, then you had no means to provide for your family or go anywhere. His 3 lead dogs were shot. This dog slaughter happened around 1960. Today we are 2017. To date, we have not heard of an apology about losing those dogs, about those dogs being slaughtered.
Prochaine destination, Clyde River, située sur la rive du bassin Patricia, un affluent du détroit de Davis.
We started the morning with Rebecca, who is running a cultural program in one of the elementary schools and secondary school, where the goal is really to bring back some Inuit knowledge into the curriculum.
This year, we've tripled the graduation rate. This year, we are looking at 16 potential graduates. And our usual, the biggest graduation rate is 8.
What I took away from it was the importance of balancing culture with the education system. One of the phrases that stood out for me was, what's the point of graduating if you can't survive on the land for one night?
The integration of Inuktitut into the school was amazing. In the beginning, we were wondering about whether or not that was part of what was going on in schools, but we really found out that the strength of the teachers to bring that to the students is incredible.
Clyde River made international news in recent years when community leaders and Greenpeace partnered to protest offshore seismic testing for oil and gas deposits in the region. The partnership came as a surprise to many, especially since Clyde River, like so many communities in Nunavut, had been significantly impacted by Greenpeace's anti-seal hunt campaign some years earlier. We met with former Clyde River Mayor Jerry Nadanin, who led the campaign against the seismic testing.
So it started in 2012. I became a mayor, and the company, they were visiting here consulting. They've been here before, and before that my father was an elder then, staying home and sick. So I go to him and I told him, you know, they're planning to do all this, seismic cannon blasting, looking for oil down there. And I thought he was going to be gung-ho, yahoo, and all that. But, you know, he said, grumbling, you know, we have to stop that. You have to do everything you can to stop it because it's going to hurt the seals and whales. Went to the Supreme Court, and really, really exciting.
Where are we going, guys? We're going dog sledding. Woo! Woo! Rap video, baby.
From people.
Get it out the mud. Yeah, yeah.
You just throw it at the crowd and see what happens?
Yeah, let's see.
Being out on the land gave us a small glimpse into the deep interconnectedness between the Inuit and the Arctic landscape, water, air, and animals. Appreciating and honoring this interconnectedness is also essential if reconciliation is to be achieved.
So I did the debrief last night. I had everyone write out one sentence of a key theme that mattered to them. And interestingly enough, almost everyone on the team had some form of reconciliation for the Aboriginal population, up here being the Inuit community, as their number one theme.
We headed to our last stop. Iqaluit is Nunavut's capital and the largest and fastest growing city in the territory. The city is thriving in many ways. There's a vibrant emerging art scene, and the local economy has grown well beyond its roots as a traditional fishing spot. The impacts of colonization, including residential schools, still reverberate through the community and manifest through the overrepresentation of Inuit in the jail systems, in family violence, and in poverty.
So they were talking about the lack of housing, the overcrowded in the houses. They shared a story about talking to some kids playing at 3 o'clock in the morning in the playground, and him asking, why are you out playing at 3 o'clock in the morning? And they said, because somebody is sleeping in my bed. When they're done sleeping, I'll go home and I will sleep.
Residential schools and federal hostels started targeting the Inuit as early as the 1860s with the goal to aggressively assimilate, civilize, and Christianize. The last one here closed in 1996.
So back in the 1950s, the U.S. Army built a barracks base. After that, they left it here, and the city bought it for $1. And they took Inuit children from all the different communities up north, and they brought them here. They took their identity, their values, who they are as an Inuit people, and they put them in this building here for 10 months out of the year.
Iqaluit is not immune to the impacts of colonization.
From February until the end of July, there were 25 deaths by suicide, and in the year prior there were 36. So in February to July. So we looked at all the factors, what's going on. And if this continues, we're going to have a rate 500 per 100,000, as opposed to the 10 in Canada.
What is the message that we need to represent at the Governor General's conference on Thursday?
We love living here. We want our kids to live.
Perfect. It's beautiful.
Well, this is it. We're gonna say goodbye to Iqaluit. It's been a good time. Cheers.
So here we are in the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We've just traveled thousands of miles across the beautiful Arctic. We've caught 12 separate flights, been to numerous communities, met with so many inspiring people. And although we haven't had a lot of time to reflect, that we've really been able to acknowledge that Canada 150 isn't being celebrated by everybody in Canada, and that we need to acknowledge we have a lot of repair and work to do to make Canada whole. In everything that we do, whether it's economic development, entrepreneurship, innovation, it needs to be viewed through the eyes and the lens of reconciliation and how we can support Canada's Indigenous people. We went up to Nunavut with a lot of questions. We wanted to listen and hear from everybody and gather information from the stories. But what we determined is we actually came back with more questions. Inuit people of the North have the capacity, the knowledge, the innovation to tell this story themselves, and we in Canada need to start listening.
Intro to what? Oh.
Okay, ready? And action.
Hi, I'm Heather Pay. I'm a military nurse from Kingston.
Allô, mon nom est Josette, je suis de Montréal, puis je travaille pour un organisme de recherche.
Bonjour, mon nom est Simon, je viens de Montréal et je dirige un orchestre à Montréal.
No, a little louder. Cheapers, come on.
Hi. I'm Jen. I'm from Calgary and I work in oil and gas.
Anthony Morelli from Ottawa and I'm with Global Affairs Canada.
I'm Greg Hemmings. I'm a filmmaker from St. John, New Brunswick.
I'm Jamie West. I'm a steelworker from Sudbury and I represent mining workers for health and safety.
Hi, I'm Karina. I'm from Montreal and I work with the Canadian Labour Congress.
I'm Dallin Bear and I'm an Indigenous leader from Saskatchewan.
I'm Rosie. I'm from Montreal and I work for financial institutions.
Hi, my name is Shauna. I'm from Toronto and I'm a police officer there.
My name is Alexa. I'm originally from New Brunswick, currently in Vancouver, and I work in mining.
Nicole Bresser. I'm a lawyer from Victoria, BC, practicing Aboriginal and human rights law. I'm really excited to be part of this Nunavut tour and the Governor General's Leadership Conference.